In this lesson, we're going to be continuing talking about simplifying expressions. In order to fully simplify an expression, we need to review what we've talked about before with combining like terms and distributing. So let's review a couple of those problems to practice. Looking at number 1. Remember, when we combine like terms, we want to start by combining our common variable terms. So in number 1, both of these are common variable terms. So I can read from left to right and see that I'm going to subtract negative 3 minus 6. Negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9, and their common variable is x. So negative 3x minus 6, completely simplified, is negative 9x. Number 2. Again, look at your common variable terms first. Our common variable terms are negative 8x and negative 4x. Reading left to right, I see I'm going to subtract. Negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. And the common variable is x. Then we're going to look at the common constants. Oh, I missed an x. Let me go back. So I missed this x here on the end. So we have 3 common variable terms. Remember that x is like having a 1x. So when we combine, again, left to right, negative 8 minus 4 plus 1. Negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11 with the common variable of x. And then we have our constant. We only have one constant, so there's nothing to combine it with. So we just bring it down, negative 9. So it's simplified, negative 11x minus 9. Go ahead and highlight number 3 and 4 so you can practice that in a few minutes by yourself. The other skill we need to be able to do is to distribute. So remember, with distributing, we multiply. A big sign that we need to distribute is the fact that we have parentheses, and we multiply the number directly outside the parentheses times everything inside the parentheses. So in number 5, we're going to multiply the 2 times x and the 2 times negative 3. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So we write that as minus 6. So number 5 simplified is 2x minus 6. Remember, when we simplify, we're going from more terms to less terms. So in number 5, we had 3 total terms, and we went to 2 total terms. Number 6, we're going to multiply negative 8 times 2x and negative 8 times 5. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16x, and negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. So number 6 simplified is negative 16x minus 40. Go ahead and highlight 7 and 8 so you can practice those in a minute. Now we're going to put together combining like terms and distributing to simplify some bigger problems. An algebraic expression in simplest form, so we want it as the simplest form it can be in, is when you have no like terms, and no parentheses. So when you combine like terms and you distribute, you're getting that expression in the simplest form possible. Now, when you're doing both of these, you always want to distribute first and then combine like terms. We always do it in this order. Now, you don't always have to distribute. Sometimes you check to see if you need to, and there's nothing to distribute, so you move on to combining like terms. Or sometimes you distribute, but then once you distribute, there's no like terms, so you don't have to do that. So sometimes you do both of these steps. Sometimes you do one and not the other. It depends on the expression. Let's take a look at some examples. Number 1. I can see in the expression from number 1 that I do need to distribute because I have parentheses. Remember, we distribute the number directly in front of the parentheses. So I'm going to be distributing this negative 8. Now when I distribute, it doesn't have anything to do with this first 8. So I'm just going to bring that 8 down. After I bring down that 8, I'm going to then distribute negative 8 to x. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x. And then I'm going to distribute negative 8 to 1. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Once I've distributed, I'm going to check to see if I have like terms. When I take a look at my variable terms, I only have one term that's a variable term. So there's nothing to combine that with. I'm going to bring it down. Then I'm going to check my constants. I have 8 minus 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. So they pretty much just eliminate themselves. So my final answer, simplified, is negative 8x. So we went from our original problem to having 1, 2, 3, 4 total terms to having just one term. So this is simplified completely. I have no parentheses and I have no like terms. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, I can see I have parentheses, so I know I'm going to need to distribute. We distribute the number directly in front, so we distribute that negative 3 to everything inside the parentheses. In front of that negative 3, I have this 4. That 4 doesn't have anything to do with what we're distributing, so I'm just going to bring that 4 down. And then I'm going to distribute. Remember, when we distribute, we multiply. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 9n is negative 27n. From here, I'm going to check to see if I need to combine like terms. I look at my variable terms first. I only have this one variable term, so there's nothing to combine it with, so I bring it down. Make sure when you bring it down that the negative that's in front of it stays with it. Then I check for my constants. I have a 4 and a negative 3, so I can combine those. 4 minus 3 is a positive 1. So I no longer have parentheses. I no longer have like terms, so I know I am done completely simplifying. And again, we went from an expression that has 4 terms to an expression that has 2 terms. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 looks just a little bit different. I still have parentheses, so I know I still need to distribute. I'm going to distribute the negative 4. But then behind the parentheses, I have this negative 7. That negative 7 doesn't have anything to do with distributing. So I'm going to bring that negative 7 down. And then I'm going to distribute the negative 4 to everything inside the parentheses. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8x. And negative 4 times negative 7 is a positive 28. Once I've distributed, I check for like terms. My variable term, there's only one, so I bring it down. Negative 8x. My constants are 28 and negative 7. Reading that from left to right, 28 minus 7 is a positive 21. So final answer simplified is negative 8x plus 21. Go ahead and highlight number 4. And let's take a look at the next page. On the next page, I want you to highlight number 5 through 11. And now let's take a look at number 12. Number 12, I have parentheses, so that's my sign that I need to distribute. We distribute the number right in front, so we're going to distribute the negative 5 to everything in the parentheses. On the end, I have plus 7v. 7v doesn't have anything to do with me distributing, so I bring that down. Negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. And negative 5 times negative 4v is a positive 4v. And remember that 7 was positive, so we have a plus. From here, I can combine 4v plus 7v. That's 11v. There's nothing to combine my constant with, so plus 15. Go ahead and highlight 13 and 14. And then at the bottom, you can mark out the summary.